We've all seen our fair share of family drama, but what happens when one single object, a tiny little ring, becomes the very thing that threatens to tear a family apart? Well, today we're diving deep into the story of that ring, a sister who said no, and a celebratory dinner that went completely off the rails. Just imagine hearing this from your own brother. On the surface, it sounds okay, right? But in this story, these words are like lighting a match in a room full of gasoline. And it's that last little phrase that's the real kicker. We can get it resized later. See, that implies a whole lot more than just trying it on. Okay, so let's set the scene. The family is all gathered at a nice Italian restaurant. This is supposed to be a happy night, right? It's a dinner to celebrate the engagement of the 28-year-old son to his fiancée. It's meant to be all about joy and family. But as you can guess, things are about to take a very, very sharp turn. And look at how fast it all fell apart. It starts with what seems like a simple request from the mom, but in an instant, it escalates. The mom literally reaches for her daughter's hand to take the ring off. For the daughter, that moment had to feel like a total ambush. Her simple no is the last straw. And boom, the party's over. Her brother, his fiancé, and her mom just get up and storm out, leaving her there totally stunned and embarrassed. Now here is the piece of information that changes everything. This whole scene at the restaurant, it wasn't the first time the ring had been brought up. Not by a long shot. About 3 weeks before this dinner, her brother had asked her, in private, if he could use their grandmother's ring to propose, and she gave him a very clear answer: no. So this wasn't some misunderstanding. This was a public challenge to a boundary she had already put in place. So you have to be asking why. Why is this one ring causing so much chaos? To really get why the sister was so unwilling to budge, we have to rewind a bit and understand where this ring even came from. Because trust me, it is not just any old piece of jewelry. You see, this ring was a direct gift to her from her late grandmother when she turned 18. It wasn't something passed down to her parents to hold on to. The grandmother gave it right to her with the specific words, "for your future." This was a personal, intentional gift meant for her. And if that wasn't enough, this just puts it all into perspective. For the sister, this ring isn't just something she wears on her middle finger. It is the one and only physical thing she has left from her grandmother. The sentimental value is just off the charts. So this was never about a ring. It's about her last tangible connection to a grandparent she loved. So after that train wreck of a dinner, the fight just moved online. The anger didn't fade away. Oh no, it got way more intense. The text messages started flying back and forth, with both sides digging in their heels, absolutely convinced they were in the right. And this is where the battle lines were really drawn. And here you can see the two totally different universes this family was operating in. On one side, you have the family calling her selfish, trying to downplay the ring as just a piece of metal, while at the same time saying it has to be kept in the family by giving it to someone else. They even pulled the grandma would have wanted this card. But on her side, the defense is all about personal ownership and emotion. It was a gift to her. She felt ambushed. She already said no, and it's the only thing she has left. And let me tell you, the pressure was intense. Can you imagine waking up to this? 15 separate text messages. That's not a conversation. That is a coordinated attack. It's a full court press from her own family, designed to make her feel guilty and completely alone for daring to stand her ground. So, feeling backed into a corner and probably questioning her own sanity, the sister did what so many of us do these days. She turned to the internet. She laid out the whole story on Reddit's Am I the Asshole forum and basically asked thousands of complete strangers to be the judge. And the response? It was massive, and it was crystal clear. People from all over the world read her story and came to one nearly unanimous conclusion. She was absolutely not the asshole here. But honestly, the verdict itself isn't the most interesting part. It's the reasons why everyone sided with her so strongly. See, the internet didn't just cast a vote. It basically formed a jury and dissected the entire case. And all those thousands of comments really boiled down to these four main arguments, four giant red flags that people immediately spotted in her family's behavior. First up was the public ambush theory. The overwhelming consensus was that the restaurant scene was a setup, a calculated trap. Her family knew she'd already said no in private, so what did they do? They asked again in public, basically banking on her fear of making a scene to force her to just give in and hand over the ring. Next, people jumped all over the brothers' hypocritical logic. I mean, come on. You can't say something is just a piece of metal and then in the very next breath throw a fit and ruin a family dinner because you can't have it. That contradiction just showed that his argument wasn't a real belief. It was just a tactic to make her feelings seem small. And this is where things took a genuinely dark turn. So many people were disturbed by the family's manipulative behavior that they started giving her these really serious warnings. The fear was that if her family was willing to ambush her in public, what would they do in private? Comment after comment told her to get a safety deposit box like yesterday. So when you look past all the immediate drama, this story really gets at a much bigger question about families and possessions. What's the real difference between a personal gift and a family heirloom? And more importantly, who gets to make that call? While that internet jury we talked about, they were very clear on this point. This ring was not an heirloom for the family to pass around. It was a personal gift. Ownership was transferred directly from the grandmother to her granddaughter. That's it. Legally, ethically, it belonged to her and only her. And the logic here, as so many people pointed out, is just plain common sense. If the grandmother really wanted this ring to go to the first grandchild who got married, she wouldn't have given it directly to her granddaughter at age 18. She would have given it to the parents and said, hold on to this for the future. The very act of giving it directly to the sister was seen as proof of what she wanted. So I think the biggest lesson from this entire mess is really about boundaries. Once a gift is given, it belongs to the person who received it, period. Their feelings, their memories, their wishes for that object, that's what matters. The rest of the family doesn't get a vote on what happens to someone else's property, no matter how badly they want it. And that really leaves us with this final, tricky question to chew on. This family truly believed that the sister had an obligation to give up her personal, treasured gift for what they saw as the good of the family. But did she? It really makes you wonder where we draw the line between personal ownership and family duty, and who gets to hold the pen.